Today's episode is sponsored by Keeps.
This is probably the only watch in the world that I want more than Rolex's Platinum Date 8, which to me is just like a grail of grails. What is up, Watch Fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Vintage Watch Shop. And today I'm doing a bit of a Q&A. Sammy's behind the camera. What's up, Sammy?
What's going on, guys?
And yeah, we're going to do like a rapid fire Q&A. There's a bunch here from Patek Philippe and Rolex to Lang & Söhne. My favorite Submariner, the things I bought on Black Friday, because why not? The next Rolex I'm going to buy. All a bunch of different, like, looking forward into 2024. What watches am I excited about? What am I looking forward to from Bulgari? What am I looking forward to from Audemars Piguet, from Tiffany & Co., right? All these different things, right? Rapid fire question and answer. Today's going to be a lot of education or a lot of opinion, and you can choose if it's worth anything or not. So let's get into it. You know, I wouldn't mind doing this over a drink. You want to do a drink with this one?
Let's just knock this out. We'll do a drink later.
Okay. I'm going to grab a drink. You keep recording. Just edit all that.
Well, if you're going to grab one, just get one for me then. No, twist my arm. What are you pouring?
Come on, we're working. Might as well have a drink. This whole channel is just about having some fun, talking watches with the guys. Girls welcome. All right, let's do it.
First off, most underrated Patek Philippe.
So I think that there's a whole world of really underrated Patek Philippe that's like neo vintage, right? Watches that are no longer being produced, haven't been produced in a while, but they're still like modern watches, right? Like sapphire crystals, modern sizes. They're decidedly not vintage. They don't look like they were manufactured in the 80s. They weren't, you know, all of that. So I could actually go off on a couple of references. I can spend quite a little bit. Maybe we should do a whole video on it. But I think one of the great examples of a grossly underrated Patek Philippe is the reference 5070. The watch was released in the late 90s, I think 98 or 99. I think it ultimately came in 4 variations, you know, white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, and I suppose platinum. I think it's a really large watch at 42 millimeters, but it's 11.6 millimeters thick. Those are pretty sleek dimensions for a manually wound chronograph. I just think it's so classic vintage Patek, but reinterpreted in a modern fashion. You know, look at the photo here this is from the Patek Museum. I mean, Patek really just brought this design into modernity. They didn't really take much creative license at all with this watch. You can get them around $70,000, you know, somewhere in that world, which is a lot of money, of course. But I think, you know, you're in the low 100s in value when you're talking about, right, Big Daddy Patek Philippe, right? If your wrist can carry a 42 millimeter chronograph, so I'm talking to you like Panerai guys, I'm talking to you, you know, IWC Portuguese guys, right? Deep sea guys, right? All those different, you know, guys with larger wrists. This watch is a no-brainer. I think it's considerably better than the successor reference, the 5170. I think just the design is more decisive, right? This is a characteristic design. This is true Patek Philippe. I think the successor, which is an amazing watch, 5170 is a great watch. I believe it was the in-house, right, version. It's just so much more tame, so it has less character. It's, again, great watch. It's, I think, in platinum with the blue vignette dial and the baguettes, it has character. But the other iterations are a little bit more tame. Probably more to the taste of a lot of people that are watching, but I'm big into like decisive design, and yeah, I think this is basically a flawless watch, and I think at $70,000, I think it's a steal. This is old Theo and Harris. This is old. I
was just going to say, this is...
I haven't done this in a long time.
I feel like Anna right now.
All right.
Lang & Söhne or Patek Philippe?
Oh, good question. So it's really going to come down to watch for me. Geez. Okay. On a macro level, I think that if I could only have one, and I had a Lange, I think I would always feel a longing in my heart for a Patek Philippe. Keeping in mind, I don't own a modern Patek Philippe right now, right? So I feel like I would always long for a Patek Philippe. I don't think that the reverse is true. I don't think that if I owned a great Patek, I would always say, oh, I never got that Lange I wanted, right? Because there's a brand history and a brand poetry that's associated with Patek that isn't associated with Lange. That being said, the list of Lang & Söhnes that I would love to own is essentially just as long as the list of Patek Philippe's I'd love to own, maybe even longer. You know, I need not walk you through all the Pateks that I love, but 5712 I think is brilliant. 5070 is brilliant. 5970 Patek Philippe perpetual counter chronograph, white gold specifically, I think is a perfect watch. 5004, all these different, I mean, the Calatravas even, particularly with enamel dials, some of the world times, right? The list of Patek Philippe that I love is just so long. But the list of Lange is just as long, which is amazing because, the brand is so much younger. Right, Lange was reintroduced in 1994, I believe. So it's a new brand, and they were only independent for I think 6 years before they were bought by Richemont, So I think the list is just as long. The Lange 1 time zone, again, for someone that has a larger wrist, is an incredible watch. The Moon Phase is an incredible watch. 1815 chronograph, both the first generation and the second generation, fantastic in all metals. Datograph, perfect. All of these watches. I think that objectively speaking, I might prefer many Langes. I really do. But I will always want to own a big boy Patek Philippe. Always. And I don't own one right now. So I think there's a lot to be said when it comes to, branding. The watch industry was built not just by watchmakers, but by men and women that were really, really good with emotional emotional manipulation. I'm trying to avoid the word manipulation but that's what marketing is, right? So much of marketing is compelling you to action without you really knowing why, right? It's a balance of logic and emotion, and sometimes just of emotion, because the logic sometimes isn't there on purchases, at all. And even if it is, that doesn't mean that that's the reason you bought it. You may tell yourself you bought this because it's a truly great watch, but can you really explain to me why it's great? And if you can't, then I don't really believe that logic had anything to do with it. I think it was purely emotional,
Moving on, favorite strap in the T&H strap shop.
I mean, I'm a strap guy. I mean, I know that I obviously I love some bracelet watches. I'm wearing one right now. I'm wearing my Rolex GMT Master 2. This is the watch I bought to kind of connect my dad and I, as if we needed anything more to connect us. I would say the new Elk we've got is amazing. I'm an exotic leather guy, period, end. I was just talking to someone this morning that, was saying, how obnoxious some of the things that I own are. And it was just like, it was little things that are just too decadent, right? And it was exotic leather specifically. I have an alligator briefcase that the person was like, that's way over the top, And I was like, no, I know it's over the top. I get that. The briefcase, actually, it's right here, right? My briefcase is over the top. I know that, but I love this briefcase. This is a prized possession of mine, and I also bought it in green at the same time.
He's got more obnoxious ones though.
I do, but my passion is for exotic leather, so I love the Elk. I think it's a beautiful color. I think the new Current is a beautiful purple. I wear it on my Day-Date. Sam wears it on his Datejust. I wear it on my purple Day-Date, but it could just as easily go on any watch, right? Like particularly silvers, whites. It's just an incredible strap. The Batman is a really interesting strap. This matte alligator. I'm always going to go with exotics. That's just me. I just love exotic leather. Yeah, literally all the exotics in the strap. The Jurassic, crazy strap, right? Our calf straps are amazing too. Everything is handmade, but I'm an exotic guy.
No, you're not.
What?
Just in personality.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Today's episode is sponsored by Keeps, my favorite sponsor that we use because I actually use this product and need it if you look at my hairline.
Yes, you definitely do need it, my friend. And
You're so kind.
And I love you because Keeps provides specialized home care for your hair, and you never have to visit a doctor's office.
Yes.
The Keep system and method and product is tailored exactly to your specific and individual needs and approved by a licensed medical professional.
Keeps is extremely affordable, typically half the price of your standard pharmacy plan.
Which is incredible. I just love how efficient Keeps is. You could do it at home. Again, how affordable it is and how discreet it is. Again, never having to leave your home, never having to go out into public, right? And wear this big silly helmet or anything like that. Keeps is delivered right to your door in discreet packaging if that matters to you. And it's effective.
Yep. So be like me and stop your hair loss. For a special offer, please go to keeps.com/Theo Harris.
I highly recommend you do. Be proactive and trust Keeps. Head on over. Link is down below in the description.
Thank you, Keeps. Favorite Rolex Submariner?
So I'm not a sub guy, right? I'm really a GMT guy because of my dad, right? I'm not a sports watch guy. I'm a dress watch guy. If you haven't noticed with all the Pateks and all the Langes that I just listed off, I mean, there was one sports watch, 5712. That was it. That was it. I right now, hot take. If you offered me a Nautilus for retail, 5711, and I could never sell it, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it. It's a $30,000 watch, and $30,000 is a lot of money, to me at least. And I don't love that watch $30,000 worth. Period. End. And there are people watching this right now that paid $100,000 for that watch. And God bless you. I hope that you enjoy every second of it. Really. But it's not, to me, that watch isn't worth 30 grand, right? It's just not. On an objective level, I think it's fair. But for me, in my personal collection, it wouldn't be worth $30,000 of what is a limited budget, right? It represents too large of a portion. I mean, it represents at least 2% of my budget, and that's too much. You're supposed to laugh there. You don't know how to do math, do you?
I'm not paying attention.
So Submariner, I love Artisans of Genève. I've been talking about the company a lot with a buddy of mine lately. They're not the only company that does custom Rolex work, but they are the most famous and most respected, I think. I really, really love them. So I'm definitely going to go with an Artisans of Genève. They made a really beautiful one, like a tribute to a vintage sub with this kind of brown dial that I thought was beautiful, black bezel. They deleted the crown guards, which they do on a lot of their modifications. They do it on Daytonas and everything. I think that's great. I think the Smurf is a great watch. When I was buying my GMT, I considered a Smurf. I love the Smurf. I think it's just a beautiful watch. I also love the successor, which they call the Cookie Monster. I think it's because it looks like his eyes. It's the black center with the blue. And I think that's a beautiful watch. Again, white gold. These are precious metal watches that I would wear. I would say, wow, this is nice. This must be money, And then the last one is, Rolex is not nearly as famous for their gem set Submariners as they are for their gem set GMTs, and not to mention day dates and all those things. But there are some pretty cool gem set, Submariners. One just sold at Phillips auction not that long ago for over $100,000. Would I ever wear this watch? Nah. Yeah, I would. I would wear it. I'd wear it. Yeah. I would never buy it. I would never allocate $125,000 to own this watch, but I would definitely wear it, for sure. So this is probably among my favorite Submariners, even though it's disgusting and I hate it just as much as I love it. It's awful.
You have a problem.
Watches are unimportant to the time. They can't speed, slow, or stop it, and our phones tell it better. But as vessels for memories, they know few rivals.
Best Black Friday buys.
What did I buy this Black Friday? I don't even remember, really. Not very much. Not very much, but I did buy pajamas. I bought a bunch of pajamas. I made the decision. So I've always owned like pajama sets, but I didn't always wear them decisively. Like I didn't wear them every night. Right, I would wear like just a sweatshirt and shorts or whatever. Now that's it. I'm in on pajama sets. On Black Friday, I was looking around, Brooks Brothers and I think J. Crew as well, and not like crazy pajama sets, not like the most expensive places in the world to buy pajama sets from, but they were really nice, and I bought 7 or 8 sets or 9 sets. I love them. It makes me feel like a former president, like President Kennedy or President Reagan. Makes me feel a little bit like Sam Rothstein from Casino, who looked a lot like John Barrymore. And that's it. So, yeah.
You are the only male that I know in 2023, 2024 that wears pajama sets. Yeah. And I would love to see if other people in the comments also, wear pajama sets.
Yeah. There are people out there that
I know there are. Sets. I just feel like they're in the minority. Maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know.
And the people that are wearing pajama sets probably also share my appreciation for vintage Cartier, I think. Yeah.
Moving on to the next question. Best Cartier bracelet.
So you got a couple. You got obviously the Juste Clou. Obviously, you've got the Love bracelet. You've got the Ecru bracelet, keeping in that Aldo Ciapullo, design era, that Audemars Piguet, era of, Gerald Genta juxtaposing luxury with industrial design. Those are all great. I have a Juste Clou. My mom has Love and everything. I just love the old ads. I think this is a really beautiful time in advertising. I like them all. I like them all. I think that they all look really like on a man. It's kind of difficult because it can very quickly become effeminate, or it can very quickly become, effeminate. That being said, when you have one of those bracelets and you really wear them in and beat them up, they look really cool. Like a Love bracelet that you've never polished, that just is scratched to hell, is cool. It's cloudy. You've worn it all over in the Mediterranean. You've gotten sunblock on it. It has a cloudiness to it. There's a cool look there. But I have a Juste Clou, so I suppose that's my bet.
Next question: will you go to your high school reunion?
I don't think I go to any reunion, and it's not because I'm too cool for school. That's the last, reason. I think it's just because anyone I want to see, I see. Anyway, I went to a grade school and a high school. Both each class was like 50 people, so it's a very small group of people. So it's not like a lot of people's high schools where it's like, well, how could you say that anyone you talk to there's no one else you want to see? There's 400 people. You don't want to see any of them? No, it's like I know all 49 of my classmates, and I don't know. I don't think they want to see me either. So no, I'm not going to go. I have a bad feeling that I would end up, I'd end up annoyed.
You annoyed?
Me annoyed?
Never.
No, never.
Next Rolex purchase.
Do I have any notes on this? It's tough. Like I've talked about the Rolex Daytona Beach, right? The 1990s limited edition Rolex Daytonas with all these crazy colors. I've talked about these. I love the one in green. I think it's a really good buy in the 40s. I think that they have a future of, going back up stably into the 70s and 80s. Right now they're in the 60s. And again, that would represent too much of my, resources to say, yeah, sure, I'll just get it. I don't think it represents, I don't think I want it that much. There are other things I want more. The one, and I don't know if I'll ever buy that watch. I probably, I don't know, right? The one I really do want is a Platinum Day-Date. I love the Platinum Day-Date. A buddy of mine just bought one not that long ago, and I think it's just the most perfect watch. Really one of those perfect watches you could buy. I think it's a remarkable watch. It's so heavy. There isn't a Day-Date that is better. My mom has a beautiful white gold Day-Date with this, like seafoam dial that I sometimes wonder, okay, what if I bought her the Platinum, but then can I take away hers and be like, hey, I didn't ask you, but I traded in your white gold for Platinum, and I put up the extra money, but, I don't know. Could I even do that? Probably not. And at that point, her white gold Day-Date is so sentimental at this point that why would you ever replace it? I would probably not do that. The only watch that I think I would maybe opt for over the Platinum Day-Date would be, and I talked about this recently, if Vacheron Constantin released the 222 in Platinum, it'd be really, really hard to get, and I probably wouldn't be on the list, but I would. Like, I think that's interesting and cool enough for me to say, okay, I won't get the Day-Date. Again, my dad has a yellow gold date chest. My mom has a white gold Day-Date. I have a yellow gold Day-Date, but it's on strap, so it's a little bit different. So I don't know if I could see myself saying, I'll do the VC. I'll go for that'll be a $90,000 watch, which is a ton of money. But I just love the weight. I'm addicted to the weight, which is why I'm obviously in such phenomenal shape, as you can tell.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I look like a sock full of cottage cheese. I told you on a date one time, we were at the bar downtown Manhattan, and a girl looked at me, and I was wearing like a knit polo, and the girl poked me, and she goes, are you fat under there? I was like, what did you just say? Are you fat under your polo? I'm like, she wasn't Russian. She was Israeli. God bless her.
Most embarrassing date story.
Oh my God. I've got a bunch of embarrassing date stories.
I'll jump in.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Oh, no, on yours.
I know. During COVID, a lot of restaurants were kind of open, they were secretly open, once a week. And you would walk in and all the blinds would be shut and there would only be two people in a room, 2 tables in a room. So it really, I think on a pretty objective level from from what we found out, it actually wasn't dangerous. It was illegal, but it wasn't dangerous, So I went to a restaurant in Queens, and the restaurant had probably 15 rooms in it, and the rooms were pretty significant in size, and maybe there were 3 tables per room. I remember everyone said 7 feet. Everyone was probably 10 to 12 feet away from each other. And they were only tables of 2. It was like a date thing, So with that, because it was dark, because the public couldn't see, it was really quiet. There was no music. It was really just candlelit dinner. And, I'm having a couple of martinis, and the girl wanted to go martini for martini with me, which is a bad thing to do. Don't try to, I'm sure plenty of you can outdrink me. I don't doubt that. But the average, 20, I think she was 21. I think the average girl is not going to outdrink me, naturally. Not going to outdrink this average girl. I told her, hey, you don't have to drink all that. And she was like, no, it's fine. What do you think? You're the only one that can drink here? And anyway, she ended up throwing up pretty violently in the bathroom. And it was really quiet in the restaurant. And there was someone that I knew that was there. And his name was Ralph. And Ralph looked at me and said, are you fucking serious? And I was so embarrassed.
Awkward.
It was so bad. She was yakking so violently. So I took her home, and it was just such a mess. It was bad.
Anyway, moving on. What watch are you looking forward to in 2024?
I mean, naturally, I'm just curious and looking forward to what Rolex will release at Watches and Wonders for their anniversary of the Submariner and of the GMT Master. I'm interested. I'm actually more excited to see if they're going to release a Milgauss. I have no idea when they're going to do that, although they're very overdue. I'm excited to see the 1159 and how they continue to evolve it, because I think that AP's done a really good job with that collection. I actually like the 1159, even though it's one of the most extortionate watches in the sense that people own them in large part because that's your ticket to get a Royal Oak. I actually think that a lot of them are better than Royal Oaks. I think AP's done a great job. Even the time onlys are really, really cool. You know, they obviously don't have the icon status. They're not as desirable, but I think that it actually represents more brilliance on AP's part, right? No one at AP in the design department really is going to get credit for releasing a Royal Oak. It was designed a long time ago by somebody else, and you're not really doing all that much in the grand scheme, whereas the people responsible for the 1159 really designed something entirely new, not only new, but beautiful, and not only new and beautiful, but as a logical extension of what was a Gerald Genta collection, right? The 1159 is the elegant version, is the dress version of the Royal Oak, right? I mean, I could see an 1159 in a pure. I would love to see Audemars Piguet release a Calatrava in the same spirit, right? A Calatrava competitor with Patek Philippe in that 1159, right, design language, because they understood how to do this industrial cutting lugs, this hard brush, this carved out case. It's just a stroke of brilliance from the brand. So I'm rooting for them. I'm also rooting for Tiffany & Co. They've released nothing in a long time, and I'm interested to see when they're going to relaunch their watch department. They've got a really cool ladies watch that Michael and I recently spoke about that I think is really, really beautiful. But it's just fairly simple, quartz watch. It's just nice with the diamonds, But I think that Tiffany's got a rich collection, a rich history with watches, and they ought to revive it. I think it would be, because Tiffany and Movado used to collaborate, right? I think it would be amazing to see Tiffany relaunch the Movado brand. This will never happen. This is just a watch geek, waxing poetic. I think it would be incredible to see Tiffany relaunch the Movado, the real Movado, in the same way that Montblanc relaunched Minerva, right? In that same sense, I think it'd be great to see them relaunch Movado, because Movado was a titan of watchmaking at one point, and has since just withered away to nothing. So Tiffany's got the power to do it. They won't, because it's, why fight an uphill battle when you don't have to? But I'd love to see them introduce, more watches to their collection, more tank competitors, more beautiful watches. And again, a lot of them can be quartz. No one's going to care. No. If it's a dress watch, listen, one of the biggest problems with the Cartier tank is that it's expensive, right? And Tiffany & Co. can offer a phenomenal, well-respected, on a brand level, Cartier tank alternative in precious metal or in interesting metal. And it could be really competitive with the Cartier tank. I mean, it really could. So I'm rooting for Tiffany, and I wish them the best.
And then last question, ending this on a fun note, favorite Navy suit?
So I'm a big Navy suit guy. I never really bought Navy suits until I went to Milan, which was this past summer, and I got really into Navy. Now I could have 3 or 4 Navy suits in a collection, and it would be no problem. I could have 5. I mean, it'd be no problem at all. I've purchased from Cavor, which is a great company based in, I think it'd be Sweden or something like that. Somewhere in Northern Europe. A really cool company. They cut them pretty thin. So if you're not like really thin, then I would definitely, be careful. You can let them out quite a bit. I let mine out completely. I'm thin, but I'm not that thin, so I had to let mine out. I also prefer a little bit, a well-tailored, but kind of a full look, a very adult, I don't want something that's restricting me anymore. I did years ago, but not anymore. Pini Parma is another great Italian brand. Love them for ready-to-wear as well. So same thing with Cavor. Both of those brands are great ready-to-wear. I haven't shopped Suit Supply in a while, but I know that they make great, they have really cool suits, in the $700 range. With Suit Supply, the benefit is you can try them on, number one, because a lot of people live near Suit Supply, and they do the alterations in-house. Cavor and Pini Parma, even though those are the suits that I buy, you got to do your own tailoring. So, you're going to need a tailor, first of all, and you're going to have to you're going to have to account for another $200. Like I always spend, if I'm buying a ready-to-wear suit, right, off the rack, which I can because my body is fairly normal, like standard, I have no weird things going on. Like my dad's got a bunch of weird fucking proportions. It's $200, for the sleeves and the body and the pants and everything, cuffs, it's $200. So if you're buying a $850 suit from Cavor, keep in mind it's going to be an extra $200. Same thing with watch servicing. It's when you're buying a vintage watch from unserviced, you need to account for $500 to $700 in service. You got to. The watch isn't $500, it's $1,500 to $1,700, and you need to understand that going in, otherwise you're going to be annoyed in 3 months. You know what I mean? But if you go with all the information, you'll be just fine. But definitely buy a Navy suit. Every man needs a Navy suit.
One last follow-up question to that.
Yep.
Before COVID, pre-COVID, for the viewers who don't know, you were on a huge custom jacket, custom blazer kick.
Yeah.
To the point where I would argue that it was almost a problem.
Yeah.
The question that I do have following that is why the switch to then ready to wear?
Well, no, I only purchased one ready-to-wear suit, so it wasn't a switch.
No. But being that you've always done the ready or not ready to wear to do the custom blazers, why not go the custom route with the suit? Honestly, and why go ready to wear?
The guy that I was getting my custom jackets made from, Dennis Friesen, who I think is just a fantastic tailor, he's not in New York as often. So I really stopped seeing him, so I stopped ordering custom jackets. Buying custom clothing is a really personal process. Really personal. And you don't want to have to learn the hard way because it's extremely expensive, right? I've had a couple of jackets made that I don't like at all. And if I did the math on it, I probably have $3,000 or $4,000 in jackets that I will never wear because I just don't like the way they look. And I don't care how many people told me that this was a good tailor, how many people told me that this is great. It wasn't. I don't think it was good at all. And I think a lot of people, once they spend the money, they feel this pressure to think it's good. Whereas I put it on, I was like, nope, I just wasted the money. I wasted the money. This is a waste of money and there's nothing I can do about it. You don't want to do that. It sucks. It's a feeling. Yeah. So if Dennis was back in New York, I'd totally have something made with him because he's amazing, but I don't know if I'm going to, go and do a journey of building a personal relationship with another tailor anytime soon. It's possible, but it's also really expensive. The jackets that I won't wear, there's only 2 jackets. It's just a lot of money, maybe it's 3 jackets, but anyway, yeah. And again, if you can do ready to wear, it's great. It's great. It's great. Again, if you can do it, if you could do a full, canvas, beautiful, premium, ready to wear suit and the fabric you really, really enjoy and you like the way you feel in the suit, I think that what the hell? Why not go with that? Right. And save yourself. My Cavor suit, I think was $1,100 or $1,200 all in. And if I had it custom made, it would have been $25 or $20.
You saved the grand at least.
Yeah, I saved $1,500. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money. It's certainly not nothing. Yeah. So anyway, now I'm going to be taking my custom suits, and I'll probably go. I'll be texting Dennis, hey, when's the next time you're in New York? Because Dennis is just great. If you guys like this episode and it reminded you of old Theo and Harris, let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe and like and everything. And if you want more content from Theo and Harris, go ahead, join The Zero, which is our podcast community down in the description. We do podcasts every single week, and it's just an amazing community. We've got hundreds of members, like 600 members or 700 members, and we're always just sharing content and posting stories, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful community. So I can't possibly answer all the YouTube comments, but I can answer all the DMs down in The Zero. So go ahead and join, even if it's on a 7-day free trial, just to try it out. Go ahead and welcome yourself to the community. That's it. Straps, as many of you should know, bring a whole world of potential to mix up your watch collection. They breathe new life into watches. They help you pull out different colors. They give them new personality. Straps can be very addictive. I know people with 2 watches and 10 straps because it adds so many facets to a collection in a fairly easy and fun way. So that's why they become such a part of the Theo and Harris culture and identity. I think we sell more exotic straps than almost anybody because I just love them so much and I love sharing them with you.